I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 little-known facts about US elections that'll probably surprise you. Hashtag Mike for Punsident 2020. The last third-party president to be elected was Abraham Lincoln in 1860. So the next time someone tells you a third-party vote is a wasted vote, you can ask them if they've never heard of Abraham Lincoln.
24.
Ronald Reagan won 49 out of 50 states in the 1984 presidential election against Walter Mondale. The only state Mondale won was Minnesota, his home state.
23.
The first woman to run for president was Victoria Woodhull, who ran in 1872 with the Equal Rights Party. She was a very controversial figure for her time, not only because of her outspoken activism on behalf of women's suffrage, but because of her many known affairs, some with members of the clergy.
22.
Astronauts vote via secure email on a Harris County, Texas ballot, as most astronauts live near ground control in Houston.
21.
A third-party candidate needs to reach 15% in the national polls to be included in the televised debates. The last candidate to do this was Ross Perot in 1992.
20.
The first televised debate was in 1960 between John F. Kennedy and Richard M. Nixon. Kennedy would go on to win the election and become the 35th president of the United States.
19.
In Florida, Kentucky, and Iowa, anyone with a felony conviction is permanently banned from voting. In Vermont and Maine, everyone of legal age is allowed to vote, regardless of criminal history. Other states vary between these two extremes, some depending on the crime, some allowing those on parole to vote, others allowing those no longer in prison or on parole to vote.
18.
Women were never prohibited from voting in the Constitution. However, many states chose not to allow women to vote. In 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was passed, stating that no state could deny someone a vote based on their sex.
17.
Martin Van Buren was the first president to be born in an independent United States, as the 7 previous presidents had been born under the British Crown. His win was the third in a row for the Democratic Party, and the first time the US elected 2 different Democrats in a row. The last time this has happened was in the 1960s, with John F. Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson.
16.
One of the first records of a woman seeking a voice in elections is Abigail Adams' letters to her husband John in 1776. She asked him to not put such unlimited power in the hands of husbands. He replied, "We have only the name of masters, and rather than give up this, which would completely subject us to the despotism of the petticoat, I hope General Washington and all our brave heroes would fight."
15.
When you vote, you don't vote directly for the president. You're voting to pick your state's electoral college, who have pledged, but are not legally bound, to vote for the candidate you selected on your ballot. Their votes are the ones that actually select the next president. When people talk about electoral votes during the election season, or tally them on election night, their votes are what they're talking about. Each state gets electors based on population.
14.
There have been 4 elections in US history where a nominee has lost the popular vote, but won the overall election. John Quincy Adams in 1824, Rutherford B. Hayes in 1876, Benjamin Harrison in 1888, and George W. Bush in 2000.
13.
In the 2012 presidential election, Hawaii had less than 45% of eligible voters cast ballots, making it the state with the lowest voter turnout. Measures have been passed for the 2016 election that will allow voters to register to vote and vote on election day at their polling location, in hopes to increase turnout.
12.
In 23 states and DC, a 17-year-old may vote in the primary election, the vote that selects each major party's candidate, if they turn 18 before the day of the general election in November.
11.
A faithless elector is an elected member of the Electoral College who does not vote for their party's designated candidate. So far, there have been 157 of these faithless electors since the founding of the Electoral College.
10.
In 2000, the entire presidential election came down to Florida, and after weeks of recounts, the state of Florida and its electoral votes, and therefore the presidency, was declared for George W. Bush by a mere 537 votes.
9.
Only Nebraska and Maine split their electoral college vote according to the popular vote for the state. The rest of the states, and D.C., are winner-take-all.
8.
The Democratic Party uses a donkey as its mascot because one of its most famous members, Andrew Jackson, was called a jackass by his critics during the election of 1828. He decided to run with it, and the donkey, or ass, became the symbol of the party.
7.
We vote on Tuesday because of farmers. Back in the mid-1800s, when the majority of Americans were farmers and churchgoers, and all travel was done by horse and buggy, logistics made things a bit tricky. Sunday was a day of worship, and Wednesday was market day. So Tuesday was picked because it would give voters Monday to travel to their county seat, early Tuesday to vote, and be home in time for market on Wednesday.
6.
The 2012 election between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney saw over $2 billion spent between the two candidates. This made it the most costly U.S. election to date, averaging out to almost $16 per vote cast.
5.
There have only been 2 U.S. elections where a candidate won 100% of the Electoral College votes. In 1789, running against John Adams, George Washington was unanimously elected. Then in 1792, Washington ran unopposed, but the Electoral College still voted, giving him 100% of the votes.
4.
Actress Roseanne Barr ran for president in 2012 under the Freedom and Peace Party banner, and actually came in 6th, with just under 50,000 votes.
3.
A candidate needs a minimum of 270 of the available 538 electoral votes to win the presidency. If that doesn't happen, the vote then goes to Congress, with the House of Representatives picking the president and the Senate picking the vice president via voting. Each state chooses one representative to vote.
2.
The last time a third-party candidate won any votes of the Electoral College was in 1968. George Wallace of the American Independent Party won a total of 46 of them. All of the states Wallace won were in the Southeast, aka the Bible Belt.
1.
Nationwide voter turnout for the 2012 election was 57.5%. Even though Obama beat Romney by a significant margin, the difference in the popular vote was around 5 million. So while people can make educated guesses based on the votes that were cast, polls, etc., the honest truth is, we still have no idea what would have happened if even 90% of eligible voters had made it to the polls. Oh, the number of voters that didn't show up to the polls? Over 90 million. For our US viewers, remember, voting day is November 8th this year, so be sure to get out and vote.
Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the top right corner so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 2 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.